Okay. Are y'all ready?
Yes, I am. We're ready.
All right. Well, my name's Laura, and we're going to talk about maps today, and we're going to draw a map. And I'm a Texas Master Naturalist, so most of the maps I'm going to show you today have something to do with nature or something like that. But you can make a map of anything you want. I have some examples of city maps that I've done too. But so there are all kinds of maps that you can look at and make and study. And the science or art of making a map, almost all maps will fall into one of two categories. And the first category is cartography. And I'm going to share my screen so I can show you an example of that. You've probably all seen one of these. But cartography is when you make a map, like a road map, like this. And you may have already, you may have seen one of these. Google Maps is a map like this. It's very factual. So you could actually find your way using this map. Another example of this kind of a map is a topographical map that shows elevation of mountains and hills and that kind of thing. World maps, and those can be flat or in a globe, round. And then another type are floor plans and blueprints. Now those are a different kind of map. It's a map of a room, but it's still a map. But we're not going to talk about those kinds today. Today we're going to be talking about maps that fall into the chorography category. And those are artistic maps. And these maps are more entertaining, and they may inspire you to go visit someplace, or they may transport you to someplace. It can be someplace in your imagination. You could make a map of Alice's trip to Wonderland and all the different things that she saw there. So before we get into looking at the maps, most maps have different elements and different parts. And the maps we're going to be talking about, we need to know which way is north. So you would put a compass rose in the map like this. And a compass rose can be anything from something very simple like that just shows north, just an arrow, and that's an arrow. Or it can be really ornate and pretty, and you can put a lot of artwork into it. And that would show north, south, east, and west. Most maps also have a border, and those can be simple, those can be fancy. You just need someplace for everything to stop. The map we're going to do today has icons, and these are the icons that we're going to be using today. We're going to have a cow and a horse, a tree, and a bird. And there's all kinds of icons, and I'll show you some of those on my examples. We're also going to do a legend on our map, and a legend tells you it explains any of the marks that you've made on your map, like the road. We'll designate the road on there, and we're going to have a trail on there. We're going to have a creek, and we're going to have prairie. So those are the basic parts that we're going to be using today. All right, so I'm going to show you some examples from some of my journals. This first one I'm going to show you is kind of an oddball map. It's a map of a tree. And you can do maps, any kind of map you want. So this one was kind of a little bit out of my imagination, but my tree map is two parts. So you can see that, let's see. Well, I don't have a compass rose on here. I do have a border. And I don't have icons per se, but I do have labels. And my labels are the letter O, the letter D, and the letter K. And down here, I explained what O, D, and K stood for. So I'm looking at this tree, and I have orioles that build nests in there, dove that build nests, and kingbirds. And they all live there happily together. And so just looking from the ground view, looking at my tree, I can tell that the orioles, they build their nest out here on the edges of the tree. And their nest is kind of like a bag or a pouch. So I did a little sketch of that. The dove, she likes to build her nest kind of in the middle of the tree, height-wise. And her nest is real loose, and I don't know how an egg stays in that nest, actually, because it doesn't look like it would hold anything. Then the kingbirds, they like to live up in the top of the tree. And this is a Texas ash tree, so then I drew some of the leaves there too. So I had the side view of the tree, and then I thought, and I just pretended like I was a bird, and I was flying into the tree. Now on this one I do have my compass rose, but in this case it does not point north. So this is an oddball example. These are my measurements. This is approximately 45 feet across and 39 feet from east to west. I did the same labels and icons in here, the O, the D, and the K. And from the top, you can see that the orioles are, again, out on the edge, and the dove is in the middle of the tree height-wise, and also kind of in the middle of the tree width-wise, this way. And the kingbirds they like to, I guess they think they're the king, so they like to be at the very top of the tree in the very center. Let's see. I have another one here. Now this one, if I go too fast, or if you have any questions or anything like that, just holler at me. This is a map from near a state park where I like to go in Colorado. And this right here is where I camp. So that little triangle icon is a campground. And there's a campground here, here, and here. One thing you'll notice when you look at maps, blue is almost always water, a lake or a stream, a river, something like that, the ocean. And green, most of the time, will represent a state park or a national park or a grassland, some kind of a parkland. Now on this particular map, I used a lot of weather icons. So that whole week that we stayed there, I did the date here down each one and the day, and then I did little icons to show the weather in the morning and in the afternoon. So on Saturday morning, the sun was out and it got up to 75 degrees, and in the afternoon it clouded up, went down to 55 and rained. Then by Wednesday, let's see, it was 34 in the morning and raining, and 45 in the evening and raining. And Thursday it started snowing. Friday we had fog and clouds. So it's kind of fun to watch the weather and mark what's happening there. Let's see. Another one. Okay, this is probably my most accurate map. This map is, again, from that same state park, and this is a map of all the trails that I've taken and that I want to take. It's actually all the trails of the park, but if it has this little dotted line, I don't know if you can see that, but if it has that little dotted line, that's a trail I've taken. So you can see I still have a lot of trails I've got to go back and do. And there's my little compass rose on that one, and my legend that explains that these are the trails to do, and these are the trails taken. And that includes all my trips from years and years. It's going to take me a long time to do all those trails. Okay, so this one is from the Grand Canyon, and this is on the rim of the Grand Canyon, so looking down into the canyon. And again, the green is the land part, and once you go over the edge of the Grand Canyon, it's mostly rocks and lots of layers and different colors and that kind of thing. And the top layers are more red and pink, and as you go deeper into the canyon, it gets more yellow and brown and that kind of thing. So that's what I was trying to indicate here with the colors. But this particular day, I hiked along the rim, and I went from the Bright Angel Trailhead through all these points to the abyss. And right here, I saw some California condors, so that was pretty exciting. So I had to put that in my journal. Now at the abyss, I was tired, so I got on the little shuttle bus and rode clear over to Hermit's Rest, and this was the entry to Hermit's Rest. There's my compass rose there, and this is my little legend, and the double dashed line says that's where we hiked, and the little, they kind of look like train cars, but it was a little train bus kind of thing. So that shows which part of the trail I did what. And then on this one year I got to go to New York City. And New York is a pretty big place, to say the least. So New York was so big that I did a map of the island of Manhattan, and it was so big that it took 4 pages. So I did the top part here, and then the bottom part here, and it just kind of continued. And on this, there was so much to see and so much to do and so much going on in that map that I simplified everything, and I just kind of laid in some lines to give the illusion of streets. I'm not trying to get anywhere with this map. I wouldn't want my life to depend on this map. But I put little numbers for different things that we wanted to see in different areas. I spelled those out, and then this is where we stayed, which was kind of right in the middle of the whole thing. That was Central Park. Again, you can see the blue of the rivers. It's the East River and the Hudson River. And then these lakes in Central Park. And these are all parks in New York. The Statue of Liberty is right here off the page. So I have a little number there pointing to that way. Then one of the days there in New York, well, 2 days we rode the bus, and the bus had different routes, and it would take you around and show you different things. So one day we did the red route, and that went downtown. So we got on and we saw Times Square, and we came down this way and saw Greenwich and the Flatiron District and Wall Street, and came back up and back around, and that was pretty neat. Now that I don't have a compass rose on that one, but north was that way. If you don't have a compass on there, you just kind of assume that north is up. The next day, we rode the bus on the blue line this time, and it did a different route, and it went uptown and went by Central Park and the Met and the Natural History Museum and Carnegie Hall and around that way. And this was our tour guide that told us what all we were looking at.
His name's Jose.
So, I've got one more map to show you, and then we'll draw one. Okay, so this one was in Oregon. And I don't have a border on it, but the page serves as the border on this one. And this one, I've got water from the ocean. I've got land. This is my compass rose on this one. And it shows north and south. And that's also the road sign for this highway right here that we took up and down the coast. So we flew into Eugene, Oregon from Dallas. So that's my little plane. And then we got a van and we drove down to Crater Lake National Park. And there were forest fires burning, so I've got a little fire there. And then we drove around this big circle, and these little red dots were towns we stopped in and had snacks or lunch or supper. And we stayed at Crescent City, and we saw the giant sequoias, the redwoods. Then we drove up the coast, and we saw an arched rock out in the ocean. We stopped and watched whales, and we went up to Cape Perpetua, and I got to see real life starfish. And these little stars right here all up and down the coast. We also saw lots of lighthouses, and each lighthouse was different, and I didn't have enough room to draw those here on this map. So I over here, this is kind of my legend, I guess. So the little stars equal lighthouses. And here I put, this was our itinerary, where all we went, and we drove 975 miles on that loop right there. So that was a long way. But we're not going that far today. Today we're going to walk with Abby. And Abby is my dog. And she loves to go for a walk. And this is a picture of her right here. She's a big black lab. And she's pretty young and she likes to walk a lot. So since I can't be with you and you can't be here, we need someplace to map. And so Abby and I came up with this little poem, and I'm going to read you the poem, and then we're going to illustrate this in a map so we can all see where we walked with Abby, and it'll be kind of like we walked with her. So get your paper and your pencils ready. I'm going to read the poem to you, and then we're going to draw. So, okay. Oh boy, we're going for a walk. If only my human could hear me talk. Down the drive and out to the road, nose to the ground, look, there's a toad. Cows to the east and prairie to the west, walking with Mom is just the best. We head to the north, walking fast, so much to smell as we go past. We go across the culvert and down the hill, the meadowlark's song, a bright, lovely trill. At the corner we make a turn to the right, walking past cows, black, brown, and white. Under the road flows a wee tiny creek, and I make Mom stop so I can take a peek. The creek gurgles and flows to a pond on the right. I jump in the water and give Mom a fright. I splash and I play. I could stay here all day. But when Mom says come, I'd best be on my way. We keep right on walking to the shady old tree. We stop for a drink, and I lap water with glee. We turn and face west and head on back home, where I get a nap and a nice crunchy bone. So, we're going to illustrate where all Abby went. Let's see. How much time? We still doing all right on time? Oh, yeah, we got lots of time. Okay, now if I go too fast, you just holler and we'll slow down. I had caffeine at lunch and I might be a little shaky. Okay, we're going to start off with our border. So I'm just going to draw a border along the edge of, about half an inch in from my edge of my paper. You can draw it wherever you want. And it doesn't have to be real straight. Mine's a little wobbly. And I like to turn my paper because it's easier for me to draw a straight line if I pull my pen toward me instead of trying to go across like that. It gets real wiggly when I do that. But if I pull it towards me. It's slightly straighter. And for right now, we're just going to do a single border. If we have enough time, you can go back and do a double border, and then you could do this fancy edge if you want to. Okay, so we've got our border. We need to put our compass rose in there, and I'm just going to do a real simple one, and I'm going to do it up here in this corner. So I know which way is north, because Abby talks about north. So I'm going to put a big plus, and then a north, and then south, east, and west. And a way to remember that is the sun comes up in the east, and it goes down in the west. So if you have the sun on your right-hand side, and it's coming up, it's going down on the left-hand side, that means you're facing north.
Oh, Evan, it's late. If you would like to get to stay in here, settle yourself down.
I'm sorry, were you talking to me?
No, ma'am. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Okay. Next, we're gonna put in the house, because that's where we start off. And the house is gonna go kind of down here in this kind of corner. And it could just be a simple house with a little door. And we come out of the house and we go down the driveway, just like that. And we get to the road. And at the road, we're gonna turn and go north. And the road goes north and south. And we're gonna draw it up to about there. And then she talks about we turn a corner and go right, which is east. I think she says we go, yeah. At the corner, we make a turn to the right. So we're going to turn that corner, and we're going to go all the way to that border. So everything else is going to fit in here. And we're going to do all the base first, and then we're going to do color. So we've come out, where'd it go? I think I know this. We have cows to the east. So the east is on this side, on the right-hand side of the road. So I'm just going to put some simple cows in there. I'm going to put 3 cows. And I'm just going to do a rectangle and a little neck, and then a triangle with a little swoop for her horns, and an upside down V, and then a tail. The cow needs a tail. Now I'm going to put 3 of them, because we have a black, brown, and white one. And I'm going to make this cow, she's going to be eating her breakfast. I guess it'd be lunch now. Oops. Okay. So everybody got their cows?
No.
Okay. I'll wait just a minute.
My cows are fun.
That's okay. They don't have to be perfect.
Mine looks like a lemon.
Oh, it's perfect.
My cows started getting different.
You know they're a cat. You know it's a cow, so that's all that matters.
Unique.
Mine looks like
Okay. So we've got our cows to the east, which is on the right, and we have prairie on the west, which is on the left. And prairie is just tall grass and that kind of thing. So we're going to do just some grass symbols here, like three sets of 3 grasses. Then we have a meadowlark singing, so we might as well put a meadowlark in there. And I'm going to put her right up here at this corner. And I'm just going to do an oval and a circle and a V and a swish for her wings and a little tail and a little feet. She's got feet. and an eyeball.
Mine looks extremely violent.
Mine looks
Also
nice.
needs mental issues.
It's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect.
We're drawing a bird.
It doesn't have to be perfect at all.
Alright, okay.
Nah, it's
Okay, guys.
Chill out here.
Mine looks like a demon. Guys.
Okay, so we've got our bird, and then we've come around the corner, and we come to a creek, and so we're going to start the creek up here at the border, and just come down, and our creek's going to kind of meander down, and we're going to stop it right before the road. We're going to put a double line there for the banks. And it can be as wiggly as you want. Then that creek goes under the road, so we're going to leave a little break there, and we're going to come out here, and it continues on, and then it flows into the pond that Abby talks about going swimming in. So you got a big circle kind of thing there. Now in your circle, we're going to put some double wiggly lines there. And those are going to indicate water. Kind of looks like a baked potato, doesn't it? It won't here in a minute. Okay, so we got our ponds. Everybody got a pond?
Yeah.
Okay. So she takes she jumps in the pond, and we come out, and then we walk on down the road a little ways to the big shady tree. So we've got a big tree right here. Whoops. And I'm going to make it a fluffy tree.
Whoa. It looks like a nose.
It looks like it's from the left.
And I think I'm gonna put my weather up here, and it's sunny, so I'm gonna put a little sunshine here for my weather. Okay. So now we have all our parts. Oh, no, we don't. No, we don't. Sorry. We've got to do the legend. I forgot about that. So we're going to put the legend down here in this blank spot we've got right here. So I'm going to draw a box for down here. Okay. And in our legend, we want to put the road, which is just a single smooth line. And see, if you had 2 or 3 roads in there, you might want to do 2 or 3 colors to show, if one was a gravel road or a paved road, something like that. We're going to have the trail, which this is not on there yet, but we're going to put that on there in a different color. So just write the word trail. And we're going to leave this part blank for right now, because we're going to put that in a different color. Then we have this, which is the creek. And then we have the prairie. And I should have called that grass because prairie is hard to spell. And then I want to label this map so I know what it is. So I'm just going to call it Walk with Abby. I'll put a little line in it, and I'm gonna write the day on there. It's Tuesday. And it's sunny. Okay. Now we have all our parts on there. So next one, grab a red pen or a red color, marker, pencil, whatever you have. And we're going to mark the trail next. And the trail is going to be a dashed line. We're going to put little dashes. So go ahead and put those in your legend so you'll have that, you'll know what that means. And then we're going to go through and we're going to put Abby's trail. And Abby doesn't like to walk in a straight line. So Abby comes out, about the only time she walks in a straight line is down the driveway. And then she turns, and then she starts doing this. And she goes to say hi to the cows. And she says hi to the grass. And she'll say hi to the bird. Oops. And she'll go look at these cows again. And she said something about she wanted to take a peek at the creek. So we have her crossing the creek over there. And then she comes back across the road and she goes and takes a great big swim in this pond. So we're going to put her trail right around here. And she comes back to the road and starts meandering around until we finally wind up under the tree. And then we'll put a great big X. And that's where we stop and get water. She has her own special little bowl that we carry with us. And I carry a bottle of water for her, and we both get a drink. Then after the drink, we turn around, and I'm just going to do it like this. We turn around, we come back home. And we come back the same way, only pretty straight. And you can indicate that with, whoops. Coming back, we're much straighter than we are going out. But that can get just a little bit confusing when it crosses over each other. Okay, so now we get to color everything. And since I got the red out, I'm going to color my house red. That's an icon and you want it to stand out. And then, like I said, almost always water is blue on a map. So we're going to color in our creek. Our creek is going to be blue. And the creek flows down into the pond. And you can color as much on this as you want. Okay. That's all my blue on there. We need some green for the, oh, sorry, I forgot one thing. On the blue, on your legend, you want to color in the creek. Yeah. Okay. Then you can take your green and color in around the prairie. And you could do this two different ways. I like to color around the icon a little bit darker. And then you can just kind of lightly color in all the grass. Because there's a lot of grass and you can spend a long time doing that. And the cows were on some green grass, but the grass that the cows are on is shorter than the prairie grass. So that'll kind of help differentiate. That way you can tell the difference there. And it's green around there. And the tree is green. And this up in here is all green. But we may not have time to do all of that. I'm going to sorry. We have cows. We had a black, brown, and white cow. So I'm going to do a black cow, and I'm going to leave a spot on her. Maybe a white face. She's going to be a white faced cow. And then we have brown cows. And then that's the white cow. I need some brown on the trunk of the tree. And my meadowlark is mostly brown, except for she has a little bit of yellow on her breast, on her chest there. And then I need to color in my sun so I know that it was a sunshiny day. And there you have a map. And now you can see where Abby went and where she's going, where she's been. And now if you could find my house, you would know exactly where we go. And you could come go with us. So does anybody have any questions? Did everybody get a map?
Yes.
Does anybody want to show their map?
Yes.
Yes.
Yay! Okay. Let me stop sharing so I can see your maps. Oh, that's great. That's a nice long creek. Oh, that's nice too. I like that. Y'all are doing great on these.
I love the flat.
Oh, that looks good. Oh, yeah, see, I like how you did yours long ways, up and down. I like how you did that.
Hi.
Oh, that looks nice. And I like your labels in your title. Yeah, that's good.
Okay, anybody else would like to show theirs?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
right up though.
Hurry.
We're gonna run out of butter. Son.
Oh, I like that. Those are pretty cows. So you can when you drive to school, then the next few days you can kind of pay attention and you can make a map of how you get from your house to your school, and you could mark, with things that you see every day and things that you pass. You could make a map of your schoolroom or your bedroom, and that one's called a floor plan, but it's still kind of the same basic things. You'd have icons for desks and in your bed and in your dresser and that kind of thing. But maps are really fun, and I really do like to look at maps and draw maps and just study maps.
Well, thank you for showing us yours. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you guys for being here. I hope you had fun,
Here we go.
Yes.
and I hope you'll draw another map.
Thank you
You
very
gonna
much.
show
We
me
got
yours?
one more to show you real quick.
Okay, great. Oh, that looks great. And that's a pretty good, I love the trail. It sure wiggles around there good. Nice, very nice. Thank you. Thank you all for coming.
Okay, I'll be back on with my next class in just a few minutes.
Okay, good deal.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.